The Souls series is absolutely amazing and some of the best games I have ever played, and today I will be ranking all FromSoftware Souls-like games, including Bloodborne, Sekiro and Elden Ring. Now keep in mind these rankings are my own opinion on these games. So without further delay, let's begin. Coming in at last place is Dark Souls 2. Now I want to say straight away that I think Demon Souls is actually a worse game, but I had a better time with it, so personally DS2 goes last. Man, I really hate this game. There's times where I get an itch to play it, but then I get a couple hours in and just can't take anymore. This is a game equivalent of quantity over quality. It's got like 42 bosses, and out of them all there might be like 4 or 5 good fights, and the rest are just boring or repeats or just normal enemies with a health bar slapped on it. And then the world makes no sense. Like, look at this, you've got a broken tower, and then at the top of it you go up an elevator for about 30 seconds, and then you come out into a lava castle? A floating lava castle. Right, it just makes no sense at all. And then there's the bad hitboxes with ADP making it way worse, and the worst part for me is the enemy spam. Like, everywhere you turn you'll be ambushed by 4 or more enemies. The game does everything to kill the player, and it's the worst kind of difficulty. I do want to say there's a few good things I really do enjoy about DS2 though, like the build variety with tons of cool weapons and armour, and then the new items like bonfire sticks and fragrant branches, and then of course the addition of power stancing. But those are only a few good things mixed with a lot more bad, making Dark Souls 2 my least favourite. And next we have Demon Souls. Now, like I said, I do believe this game is worse than Dark Souls 2, but I had a better time with this than that game, so it goes here. There's nothing really bad I can say about this game, but there isn't anything that good either. It's incredibly bare bones, as expected since this is the first attempt at a Souls game, but the game just isn't that engaging. The bosses are really boring and just require taking advantage of one mechanic and then you've solved the fight. And then the levels take ages to get through, as well as farming for upgrade materials, making replaying it hard. I appreciate Demon Souls for being the beginning of this series, and it did do some things well, but overall it's a basic and easy experience, making it 6th place. And at 5th place is Dark Souls. It feels wrong saying this game is 5th place in a list since it's such an incredible experience, but that's more of a testament to how amazing this series is. Dark Souls is one of the best games I've ever played. The world of Lordran is amazing, and having the freedom that Dark Souls provides made it so unique. Gameplay wise, the game is pretty bad though. It was really slow, like the medium roll is a fat roll in newer games, and the bosses were pretty basic with only a few attacks. However, there was more of an emphasis on the exploration and the world than anything else. The world design was amazing in this game, with all the shortcuts and it being interconnected, as well as the designs of areas themselves, and then there's the mystery of the game and the lore you get through items and encounters throughout made this game really intriguing. Dark Souls is a truly unique and memorable experience. It shows its age now, especially with the newer games, but will always be amazing and comes in at 5th. Coming in at number 4 is Sekiro. This game is absolutely amazing. The game has the best combat I have ever seen in a game. It is so satisfying, and with FromSoft's boss quality, it amplifies the combat even more. The bosses are really difficult your first time through, but the game gets pretty easy when you understand its combat. The traversal and exploration is fun with the fast speed of the game and the grappling hook. The game looks beautiful and the story is engaging enough. There's really nothing bad I can say about Sekiro. It really is a masterpiece, but it lands at 4th for me as I prefer the more traditional Souls style gameplay, but Sekiro is still one of my favourites. And in at 3rd is Elden Ring. This is where it gets really difficult, as any of the next 3 are genuinely interchangeable at any time. I originally had this as my favourite, but I thought more on the others, and since replaying them again recently, I decided to put Elden Ring in 3rd. This game holds a special place in my heart. It was the best first playthrough of any game I've ever played. The open world and exploration was magical, and the refined Souls mechanics mixed in with the incredible depth of this game was just amazing. The bosses had some of the most complex and coolest designs in this series, and the sheer amount of things to do was just staggering. It does have its flaws though, with things like replayability and repeated bosses and the dungeons. However, my first playthrough was so great and comes in at number 3. 2nd place belongs to Dark Souls 3. DS3 has the greatest bosses in the entire series and it's not even close. Mechanically, they're the best to actually fight, and DS3's combat makes them so fun. It has a good balance of Souls and some Bloodborne in there to make it faster. The world isn't too interesting, especially in the first half of the game, but the gameplay side of things really carries it. I would technically say that Elden Ring is a better game, and maybe even Sekiro, but DS3 is very dear to me, and I will always have a slight bias to it, even though I know other games have more quality. And my favourite Soulsborne game is Bloodborne. Bloodborne is pretty much perfect. It has an amazing atmosphere, grotesque and engaging bosses, amazing combat, and some of the best lore I've ever seen. The added mechanics like the trick weapons and the rally system are so fundamentally amazing and force the player into the fast-paced FromSoft wanted from the combat. The DLC is my favourite in the series as well, and it's just amazing. The only bad things I can say about this game are little nitpicks that barely even change the game, it's just for convenience. I guess that the bosses are slightly lacking overall compared to DS3 or even Elden Ring, but it has some amazing bosses and the others are still serviceable. So that's my ranking of the Soulsborne games. Like I said before, some of these could change at any moment, especially the top 3, but currently this is how I'd rank them. Thanks so much for watching, and please let me know your rankings in the comments. Thanks so much, and have a great day.